Welcome back, John! Exclamation point. Thoughts on Lollipop Chainsaw Repop? Question mark! Exclamation point. Thanks, crew! Exclamation point. Put this one in, John, because we were originally going to be discussing this as a DF Direct
Yeah,
topic, but
yeah,
we couldn't get capture because it was so bad you'd actually refunded
yeah,
it in
correct.
Fury. But it's a good topic for Q&A. Tell us your thoughts on Lollipop Chainsaw Repop.
So as a result, I haven't actually kept up with it. I don't know if they delivered the promised patch yet, but it's a gosh darn mess, is what I would say. So the original game was a Grasshopper manufacture joint, similar time frame, if I recall, around like Killer, not Killer is Dead. It was before that as well, but Shadows of the Damned. But
Yeah.
it's a silly, goofy action game that was really fun back in the old generation, but it didn't run great. I played it on PS3 on the triple. It's an Unreal Engine 3 game. It didn't run great. It was lots of screen tearing. It was okay, but it's the triple. What are you gonna do? That's what it was. So I was actually excited that they decided to do a re-release of this game on modern platforms, because like here's this chance to just have a proper smooth version of the game. You get full 60 FPS or more, clean up the image quality, basically solve those problems. But instead, what we got is an Unreal Engine 5 rebuild of the game filled with bugs. The performance on PS5 is not good enough. And from what I've read, the PC version is also stupidly heavy for reasons nobody knows. It looks worse than the original in many ways. I had to boot up the PS3 version just to double check, and like my memory was not wrong. The PS3 versions, like the art, PS360, I should say, the artwork, the way things are lit, it's very UE3, but it just looks better. And the art here, the way it fits into UE5, it doesn't work. It just looks weird. Like the lighting and the shading, it's missing fog effects, and just everything about it doesn't look right to my eye. And I don't really like the updated visuals that much. And as a result, the whole thing is just kind of, it feels like it just wasn't finished, basically. It's very unpolished, buggy, doesn't run as well as it should. It's not always an upgrade visually. And all of these things come together to make it just like me wonder, like, what the heck happened here? I'm not.
Okay,
I was
that's
not
pretty
happy
comprehensive.
with this version. If we had received proper like review code, and it's pretty obvious why we would not have, then maybe it would have been worth the video, if not for my trip. But because putting this kind of stuff on blast, I think, is important, because it is fundamentally letting fans down. Now,
Right.
they did respond to this, and it sounds like they are hopefully trying to do something. But like, come on. You guys knew it was in this condition. Like, nobody was saying, yeah, we got to get this game out right in the market right now for it to be hot. Like, it was released before it was ready. Clearly, they did a bad job with the release version. That also means if there's any disc version out there, I'm not sure if there is, there might be, that it's probably going to suck too. It's going to be limited to that version 1.0,
Oh my
totally
goodness.
broken, ugly version. I think this game's even on Switch, and I can't even imagine what that version must look like. Probably worse than the PS Triple version, if I had to wager.
Yes.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, what a bummer, right? Like, it just, I'm so bummed out that they screwed this up, because this was from a good era of Grasshopper games. They were doing a lot of cool stuff at the time, and I hope that the Shadows of the Damned remaster remake thing, which I think has a different studio involved, turns out better than this. That was also originally a UE3 game. So we'll see what happens, man. I don't know. So
I
yeah,
don't know. It's starting to sound though like a lot of releases these days don't have super positive launch. I don't know how to explain it. Reception as well as technical prowess. Like, there's always like a large patching period, and I don't think this is very sustainable for people's wits, at least game players' wits, because every game you just have to wait for patches now. Like, this sounds like an awful situation, John.
and you shouldn't have to. That's the thing. Like, this is an old game that was brought back, and like, why do you bring back games and then do a bad job at it? Like, it boggles the mind. It's not the same. It's better than this, but like, I just sampled the Until Dawn re-release, which I think Tom is doing a video on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we discussed it last week on the Direct as well. It looked like a train wreck.
It's I within the first 10 minutes, I'm just like, what happened here? Like, this is terrible. It's completely technically messed up. Like, my eyes are seeing this and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Like, how you can say this is acceptable to release. You're bringing back another game. And in that case, you could play it at 60 FPS on a PS5 in its original form anyway. And so releasing something that's all stuttery and inconsistent like that, it's not acceptable at all. And that's absolutely the case with Lollipop, which apparently it has had at least a patch so far, but it definitely does not seem to have fixed many of these issues. So yeah, that's that.
Bit of a table flipping scenario for you there, Dan.
Yeah, I'm not against re-releases of games, but if you're gonna do it right, is my point.
Right.
Like, this kind of stuff is unacceptable to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going back to that 4060 Ti thing that I was talking about earlier, it was like, well, in some respects, it was worse than the 3060 Ti. So you shouldn't be producing an improved product that is in any way worse than the one that preceded it. And this applies to game remasters as well. Really, if you're actually going to be making the product worse, what's the point?
Is this the equivalent of shrinkflation in video games? If you know anything about shrinkflation, it's like you buy a bag of chips and it has like 20 grams less chips in it now.
It is. Exactly
it's like the equivalent. They re-released it. It's a shiny new package, but oh gosh, it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't play it, did you, Alex?
Which one, Lollipop?
Yep.
No, I did not play it.
I would love to see your PC impressions.
I mean, occasionally that should probably be something we add into Direct if there was infinite amount of time, would be like the latest release on PC and just like 30 minutes, just talk about what I experienced. It's usually probably would warn people off a lot of games, actually.
I was just thinking, poor Unreal Engine 5, you'd have been furious.
Oh my God. They did port it to UE4 though, didn't they, John? Lollipop? It looks kind of UE4 like.
Yeah, I mean it's considered, it's like Unreal 5.3 that it's using, but it's obviously not using any Unreal 5 specific features. But here's the thing about Unreal 5 is, like, even if you're not using any of those extra features, there is a performance cost of just using Unreal 5 over UE4. So there's already a performance overhead that you're dealing with. Just shifting to the engine. So, man,
okay,
what a mess.
I think we've covered.
We got it. We're good.